For more on China's National Day, I'm joined by Dali Yang. He's a professor at the University of Chicago and has written extensively on Chinese politics. Professor Yang, welcome to the show.
Oh, you're most welcome.
We say that this is the 68th anniversary of the People's Republic of China and its founding, but many people in the West ask this question, that China has been in existence for much longer, thousands of years, a civilization, a people, a nation. Why is the year 1949 so important?
Well, certainly it marked the transition from one government to another. In fact, it's very much like the French republics in many ways, but in the Chinese case, there was also this titanic struggle between the ruling nationalist regime and the rising Communist Party-led forces in the late 1940s following the Pacific War. So this was part of the 20th century transition as China has moved and gradually to reconfigure the state and to build a modern state actually to suit the modern times as well.
Well, many Western commentators has this stereotype in mind. They think there's such a thing as one China and one Taiwan. But in fact, all things track back to 1949, right?
Well, it certainly dates back to, certainly a lot of the issues in the Pacific, in the region, including the China issue in terms of the mainland and Taiwan, and also the two Koreas actually all go back to the end of the Second World War and the splits that happened around that time. So we still are actually sort of inheritors of the legacies of that particular era and all that transpired in the Cold War era, and we still have to settle to deal with those kind of issues for the countries involved.
Even the administration on the island of Taiwan calls itself the Republic of China. Its constitution claims the entirety of the mainland China, Taiwan, and even Mongolia, correct?
Yes, indeed. And of course, we look at history, one of the most significant events was actually 1911, the transition from the Qing dynasty to the Republic. And of course, the Republic of China took shape during that time, but with many also sort of transitions among it, including actually the rise of the Nationalist Party in the 1920s. So a lot of really vicissitudes in modern Chinese history. Whenever actually we celebrate or commemorate some of those days, in fact, sort of the leaders on both sides, really they are tinged with a sense of the history and also the challenges of managing a vast country.
What do you think are the particular things that you pay attention to? What about the 19th Party Congress? We saw a big flower basket in Tiananmen Square today, marking the celebration of the National Day. Why are this 19th Party Congress so important?
Well, of course, every 5 years now, the Communist Party of China convenes a national Congress, and it brings the actually sort of more than 2,000 delegates from around the country together to select the power center, which is the Central Committee of the Communist Party. And the Central Committee, in turn, actually there is a selection process to choose the next generation of leadership. In this case, we do know that the General Secretary, the current General Secretary, Xi Jinping, will continue on. And of course, he also is the president of the People's Republic of China and so on. But everyone is also noting that, in fact, only 2 members probably of the current top 7 leaders are going to stay around because of age and other factors. So therefore, we are going to be looking at significant transitions in the composition of the top leadership and also the broader Politburo of the Communist Party Central Committee. But what's also interesting is we are going to be looking at potentially significant changes, not only in the party constitution, what would be the role in terms of reference to General Secretary Xi Jinping, but also really looking at significant policy changes. Every time, of course, now that he's been in the leadership position for nearly 5 years now, he's made a major impact in reforming the armed forces, the Communist Party in terms of the anti-corruption and strengthening of discipline, and so on. And people are going to be looking at actually any new changes that are going